Welcome, welcome. This is Marnie Swedberg. I am your host for this second in a four-part series that's occurring on the weekend of WEF Bangalore, which is Women's Economic Forum. And we are gathering as some of the speakers at the forum to talk through some of these business concepts that I just like to pick the brains of some of these other brilliant and successful women around the world and share that information with you guys. So thank you for being here. And feel free to add your questions or comments, and we'll get to as many of those as possible. I have several guests with me here today. First, I'm going to bring on Sandi Mitchell. And Sandi is a best-selling author, CEO of Apex Catalyst Group, executive coach of learning and development, business operations, sales, and management. She is an expert legacy mindset speaker, best-selling author, coaching veteran, and owner at Apex Catalyst Group. Welcome to you. Oh, Susie, that's not you. That's Sandi. I'm talking to Sandi. What happened to you? There we go. Sorry, I jumped to Susie. There we go. Welcome to you, Sandi. Are you hearing us, Sandi? I feel like we don't have sound on the Sandi girl. Can you hear me? Can't hear me yet? Okay, I'm going to let you work on that, and we are going to move on to Susie. Susie, welcome to you. Susie, you are the expert legacy mindset speaker, best-selling author, coaching veteran, owner at Apex. Sorry about that. I got you assigned to the wrong.
It was so surprising. I thought I was so excited to see somebody else into legacy work. That's what really
exactly
grabbed
like
me.
what I do. Like she's just like a clone.
Yeah, absolutely. Really excited.
Well, welcome to you. And you're coming to us from the UK today.
I am. Thank you so much for inviting me, Marnie. It's wonderful to be with you.
Awesome. And what are your topics, or is your topic at WEF?
Well, my topic I'm speaking on at WEF is social enterprise. But I am about legacy work, as my work title it suggests. I loathe to say expert. I don't know where that came from, but
that was us. That was us. Just saying it like it is.
Well, you're putting yourself up for pot shots, aren't you? It's too easy.
But actually, you have your expertise and your hard work has actually elevated you to a level that is that level. And we're here today to answer the question for our viewers who are either just starting or trying to grow their businesses or ministries or organizations. How did you start? Legacy isn't like the type of thing that I would say would be easy to find clients for. How did you start finding clients? And first, how did you start? Let's start with that one.
Okay, well, how I started, I think as most coaches start, I wanted somebody who had a pulse, they were alive, and a wallet. A full wallet, so that they could actually pay me. But it is so difficult when you start out. Yeah. And I didn't actually settle on legacy being my main buzz until probably the last 3 or 4 years. So I don't know what you want me to go on from there.
Once you decided it was legacy that you wanted to niche into, then how did you attract ideal customers when you started 4 years ago? How did you do that?
Well, I think it's difficult to remember. I've been in charity work for all of my adult life. And I started thinking, my husband died in 2016, and I got to think that I wanted to write a book. I'd always said I'd write a book. And if I was not going to do it now, when would I do it? Because I was coming up to the end of a year, and then it was the end of the year, and it was the new year, and it was the year in which I was going to be 70. And I thought, well, this is really life-changing. This, now I'm widowed and I'm coming up to 70. I've got to get my act together. Never too late, you see. And I wrote a book, and I dedicated it to my husband, and it was called Color Your Legacy. Well, it is called Color Your Legacy, Paint the Canvas of Your Perfect Life. And that creates a platform for you when you have a book. People start to get to hear of you and know you through that. And I'm just publishing my second book, Ascension to Legacy, but that's not answering the question you asked me. I think it's just a question of referral. Once you've been around the circuit a few times, people get to know what you do. I worked with Nightingale Conant to start with in my early business life, and then alongside that with Brian Tracy International. And I got my clients that way, which was so fantastic because they was spoon feeding me. I didn't have to go out and hustle for them. Excuse the word,
Right.
language.
And then real briefly, how has that changed or has that changed? Are you still mostly referral and word of mouth advertising based? Is that pretty much what you're still doing?
Pretty much what I'm doing,
Okay.
yes.
Yes,
I think that works for me because I've got a very select few. As you said earlier, not many people will be wanting to look for that yet. So LinkedIn is my preferred space.
Awesome. Yes. Well, LinkedIn is fantastic. Right. And of
Absolutely.
course, one of the things you mentioned that I do want to highlight, you aren't just sitting around your house waiting for people to give you word of mouth references. You wrote a book, you're out there, you're doing stuff. And then
as much as I can.
As much as you can. Thank you so much. Stay with us because I'm going to bring you back on here very shortly. Thank you so much for being here. I want to go back and see if Sandi has sound. Sandi, do you have sound?
I do. Sorry about that.
Oh, back to you. Sandi Mitchell is a best-selling author, CEO of Apex Catalyst Group, and executive coach of learning and development, business operations, sales, and management. Where are you hailing from today, Sandi?
I'm in Fort Worth, Texas.
Fort Worth. So you're very close down here in the southern continental USA, and welcome to you. So let's dive right in because we have so many guests here. I want to get to everybody. And Sandi, when you were just starting, how did you attract customers?
Marnie, I went to every networking event I could find. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, happy hour.
You were there
all the time. I was exhausted, Marnie. And what I found is that most of them really weren't my clients. So I had to stop and say, all right, what's the smart thing to do? And so I started doing EOS. It's the Entrepreneurial Operating System. And one of the exercises they have you do is really figure out, like, what's your niche, right? What are those, the people who are your people, your tribe? And when I did that, Marnie, when I honed in and I figured out, oh my gosh, what I really love are business owners of privately held companies like that 10 to 250 employees. And what I have found with my clients is that they are all family-based and all faith-based. I didn't look for that. It just, you put it out and people started attracting. Yeah.
So is that what you're doing differently now, or have you kind of morphed? Yeah. So actually then, now that you've identified your ideal client, which was pretty much your first step, right? They aren't going to be at networking events. So where are they hanging out? Where do you find them?
Yeah, the interesting thing is when you niche down, when you really figure out who your people are, then it's a lot easier to find them. Right. So now I go to organizations that are a lot of family-based leaders are in. I go to places that the small business owners belong to. I'm the lead faculty for the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program here in Dallas, and I work with the national program. And so that gives me a lot of connection to people who are my people.
So instead of going to networking groups, you actually just serve in locations where your natural clients are going to hang out.
Yes, absolutely. It's all about first, right?
Love that so much. Okay, stay with us, Sandi. I'm going to bring you back on in a few minutes, but I want to introduce a couple more of our guests here. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Marnie.
Okay, I'm going to bring on Jeannie Walden. Welcome to you, Jeannie.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
And you are joining us from?
I'm joining from the Jersey Shore, right in Rumsden, New Jersey. And
awesome.
I'm so excited to be here and speak with you.
West Coast sister. So first, tell us what business you're in.
So I'm the Chief Innovation and Marketing Officer for Daily Pay. And I've had 5 of my own companies and written 3 books. So
okay. And What was the very first thing you did? Like when you go back to attracting your first clients, what were you attracting them into?
So the first large job that I had, my big job was at JCPenney. And I ran the customer service and the collections teams there. So I was really involved with a lot of interaction with people. Then I moved into an ad agency. I started the first email marketing division of an ad agency for an agency that was called Gray Direct. And I didn't have any clients. I was given an empty room with a phone and they said, go ahead and find some business by the end of the year. And it was really scary moving into New York City and trying to attract clients into an industry that was just getting started. People didn't believe in it. So I did everything that you've heard already. I've gone to I went to networking events. I tried to look for clients. I thought, how could I approach this? And really what I felt made me most successful was getting out there and educating people about the industry that I was starting, about the benefits of email marketing, and getting known as an author, as a writer, and as a speaker. And then clients who were innovative that wanted to get involved with something new started to come to me. I started to build relationships and did incredibly great work and built a team around that enabled us to grow the largest email marketing division of an ad agency and allowed me to go off and start my own business.
Yes, yay. Okay, and I'm sure that you're using a lot of those same strategies today, but how is it today that you are attracting people to, and actually I went to your website and I was like, I think this is like one of those websites that does everything and hosts people's emails. So I didn't know you owned it. It was so huge. It didn't even occur to me that you owned that website.
Right.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Okay, so tell me now, you're attracting people into a payment. Describe it a little bit.
Sure. So today, what Daily Pay does, 15 years later, after building my personal brand and also success around the businesses that I've been involved in, and I've done everything, email marketing. I had a wearable tech company for a while. I went back to some large companies. So literally everything you could do. I ran an independent film rental company like Netflix for independent films. But Daily Pay, which is not my company, but Daily Pay allows people in the United States to choose when they want to access their pay. They don't have to wait for the 2-week pay period anymore. So if they've worked 4 days and they need to access some of the money that they've earned already, it's not a loan, they can just take it out and they can pay a bill. They can, take care of anything that comes up last minute. And it's fantastic.
Wow.
Now,
didn't even know something like that existed. So what is your role in Daily Pay?
So I'm the Chief Innovation and Marketing Officer. Yes. And we work through companies. We only work through organizations and make this service available to their employees. So for attracting new clients, 15 years later from the early days in the ad agency, it's a little different. I am still out there speaking in places like this and talking about what we're doing, but you build a reputation and early innovators really come and find you in these new and interactive spaces. I mean, what we're doing with Pay is revolutionary, but then the success of people, and this comes back to my early days as a teacher, when you can make others a success, they share their excitement with their networks. Yes. And that really create a great following. And
then we're back to word of mouth.
And good afternoon in other part of the world. Yes, I'm Sarifa Alonto Younes. I'm a CEO and founder and president. And also I'm a speaker and a best-selling author. And I call myself a self-edupreneur because my industry is on education. And I really believe that education is a very powerful tool if you want to help lift up other women. And I think starting with our business, first, how I deal with my client is providing the quality education and giving them, in the beginning, we're trying to give them discounts, and our employees also giving their salaries above the award. But I realized that doesn't really, it's not as effective as when I found that I have written also in my book, Love Your Obstacles, that I have concluded that I adopt this growth TALL principle. The TALL stands for trust, acknowledgement, listen, and love. Trust that your client are the right people and your employees are there and they have the right, they are well equipped and they are the right people to represent you and to make the business grow. And likewise, you as an owner, as a how do you call the one, a CEO or director of a company, you need to trust that you have the ability to run and you have the capability also to run the business and mentoring and coaching those people around you. And then acknowledge, it is very important for me to acknowledge their weaknesses, their strengths, and their limitations, because by seeing them and acknowledging, that's where you need to provide them training or where they need help or to fill in the gap. And that's really how you grow your staff members or employees. And then listen. I adapt this: listen to reply and listen to understand, not listen to reply. Because most of the people, I realize, is they love to listen and sometimes they can't even wait to respond, to reply. In fact, as a leader, women leader or men or whoever they are, it is very important that we listen to understand so we know and assess and analyze what is the cause of any concern. And then love. That love, treating your employees as part of the family, because if you look at it, they spend most of their time at work than at home. They come home 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, they go to sleep. Whereas at work, they spend time with you for 8 hours. So if they don't feel at home and feel loved, then they drag the day. They are there just physically, but emotionally are not there and they're not connected with you and there's no bonding. So they are just there to make a living, not to be passionate of what they do. And that's how I do it. That's now what I am doing. And that's how I grow my businesses. That's why I have established educational institutions here in Australia and overseas based on my 12 principles, which I have written in my book, Love Your Obstacles. And then this is my very foundation is loving your obstacles, because as an orphan, I am where I am now because I learned to convert and overcome different forms of obstacles in my life through loving them. And I have that also in my book, The AD Formula, which is Accept, Decide, and Dream. And I will be talking it tomorrow on my with the WEF,
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Okay, so real briefly, like in 1 minute, tell us, what is your number one marketing tool today to attract new people into your organization, not to work for you, but to actually buy what you are offering, the education services you're offering? How do you attract your clients today?
I apply also the 12 principle to give them trust that we are the right company, that they should go, they should come, and then acknowledge them what they need, analyzing and assessing that every audience, they have a unique needs that you need to address, and then listening to them what they need and how, because they are there for you for reasons, so you need to listen to them. And the same thing, love. What I said, trust. Without trust, nothing starts. They need to trust you before they could start that relationship. And without love, nothing begins. Without everything. In every relationship, even marriage, without love, it ends.
That's so true. You gave us a second acronym called AD. What was that one again?
Accept, Decide, and Dream. And that's what I'm doing, empowering women across the globe to share my stories. That AD formula, it paved my way to where I am now. And I would like to share that and educate and empower women to learn that strategy, that secret formula, that it was unintentionally, it was there since I was 10 years old. I didn't even realize that I was living that and adapting the technique of AD formula.
That's so cool.
Decide and dream.
Don't go anywhere. I'm going to bring you back on in just a few minutes, but thank you so much, Sarifa, for being here. Thanks for sharing all that. Really cool. All right. So at this, I got Jill back up here. I'm looking for Dr. Anamika. Welcome to you.
Hi, Marnie.
Hi. Where are you calling in from today?
So I'm calling from Mumbai, India.
Mumbai, India. Well, welcome to you. And tell us the name of your business.
So I'm a founder of Magnificent You. It's a life coaching company. Also, I'm expert into self-reflection.
Okay. And how long have you had your business?
It's been a decade now.
A decade. Wow, congratulations. And when you first started way back 10 years ago, how did you attract your first customers?
So I have this formula from Sir John Whitmer, and he gave us the formula of P minus I is equal to P. So here the first P is your potential, and I is your interferences, and second P is your performance. So I went ahead and took the multiple workshops across my city in Mumbai on this formula, that how exactly people are um, going ahead and suffering a lot with their low performance, be it in their business, be it in their job, be it in their marriages. So P minus I is equal to P was the formula which I went ahead and like literally spoke in every given seminar, and people were able to connect with that. So this was my first stage of making people realize why they need coaching, because my entire yes.
Can I ask you, the word that you're saying, is it B as in boy, EAT, beat?
No, it's P for potential. So first P is your
B for
potential.
prevention?
Potential.
I'm still not catching it. Spell it for me.
POTENIAL.
Potential. Potential. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
P for potential. Then we have I for interferences. Then we have P for performance. Thank you so much. It's just on the echo. It was not coming through. Okay, go ahead with your potential.
So this was a formula which I went ahead and spoke in various workshops. And there is where I started making them understand what is life coaching, what is business skills coaching. And that is where clients started connecting with me. The first thing was, they should connect with me with what I'm telling them about. So second stage was about story triangle, where I used a complete story of, understanding first the pain area. What are the pains that they are going through in their life? Most of them were having work-life balance problem. Some of them were also having identity crisis. Some of them were also looking for personal branding. So these were the main pain areas which I identified for each of my clients. And that is where they connected with me to come back to me and ask me, now give us the solution for it. So along with the solution, I gave them a breakthrough formula. And, that's how my coaching business really went ahead.
Wow, that's really cool. So what you actually offer, bottom line, is you offer breakthrough formulas.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so are you still doing pretty much the same thing now to attract clients?
Now I'm more active on social media platforms, because thanks to the pandemic, there is no offline workshop or seminars for me. So everything is on Zoom now. And so when people see me active, even during pandemic, they start connecting to me. And most of the work is coming to me through referrals. So thanks to the networking and referrals, and also the kind of work that I do, like around my book, The Bull in You. So that is where the Bull in You is all about you, how much you need to self-reflect, the self-interrogation. So every time my entire theme is about you yourself, not the others. Forget about the others. So people who resonate and connect, they come back to me. So Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, all these platforms have been very helpful to get me the clients.
That is so great. So we're going to stay with us here. Don't go anywhere. We're going to quick bring back our original guests and ask you if you have an acronym that you use. So it was really cool. I didn't know that this would go this direction, but I want to pursue it because these are really powerful. We had the acronym of TALL, Trust, Acknowledge, Listen, and Love. The acronym of ADD, Accept, Decide, and Dream. The acronym of PIP, PIP, which is potential interferences and performance. Susie, do you have an acronym that you always use?
I'm afraid to tell you, no, I haven't created my own. But what was
really
interesting,
okay.
But what was interesting listening to the other ladies, and I'm so delighted to be on a panel with them, is that I could connect with each one of them, what they were saying, how we grew. I've been around for so long. I started in advertising, and then that helped me with so many different things and growing my own business and finding your tribe. Until you found your tribe, you just don't have a business.
Exactly. We'll bring you right back on. Okay. How about you, Miss Sandi?
Yeah. APEX actually stands for awareness, performance, and excellence. And when we first started the business, that's what we really focused on for the leadership development, leadership coaching.
Awareness, performance, and excellence. That is beautiful. I'll bring you back on in a minute. How about you, Jeannie?
Yeah, so AIR, AIR. Whenever you're creating any type of marketing program, content, or a business idea, it needs to be authentic. It needs to be inspirational. And most of all, it needs to be relatable.
And relatable. That is so beautiful. Authentic, inspirational, and relatable. That is so awesome. So what I'd like to do right now is I am going to give Sandi the floor here for just a second. Sandi, out of the things that you have heard so far, I'd like you to just for 1 minute or 90 seconds, give something that came to your mind that you're like, oh, I wish I could tell them this.
Yeah. One of the things, Marnie, that I think is really important, listening to everybody talk, is the consistency in what we're saying is that you have to know who you are and really share who you are, and you will attract the type of people to be your clients, to be your vendors, and to be your employees. And if you don't put that authenticity out there, if you try to be what the world says we need to be right now, then you're never going to be happy. So it's all about authenticity.
Awesome. Beautifully said. The next question I'd like you all to answer, and I'm going to bring you on 2 at a time, and just in 60 seconds or so, I'd like you to explain what you did when you realized that everybody you were asking to do business with you was saying no. Because we have all had these failures in our lives where, like, we think we know what we think we know who we're working with, and we think we know what they need, and everybody's saying no to me. And what should I think about now? Dr. Anamika, you first.
So every time the clients said no to me, I kept on my serving habit towards them. So, the rapport was such that they came back to me even after a month. I have clients coming back to me even after a year. So this was what the rapport that I built up with my clients. It's not that I showed them a closed door with my coaching services. I was always around in bits and pieces. So I think follow-up was something which really got my clients who came back to me even after first no.
So they said no to you, and you just continued to be you.
Yes.
You didn't let that discourage you, or you didn't get angry at them?
No, not at all.
No.
If I had some oversmart clients, so if I put it up this way, so I told them that I understand that they are not ready right now to sign up, but when they are, then they can come back to me. So this is my closing note with very oversmart clients.
I love that. I love that. Stay with us. I'll bring you back soon. Okay, Jeannie, how about you?
So when I hear no, I ask why. And I keep asking why, not just directly of the people saying no to me so that I can get perspective for where I may be missing out. But then I also take those instances out to my network of both people that I work with and trust in the community, and then also people that have absolutely no idea what I do for a living, to get all the different perspectives and really kind of challenge myself to see, am I approaching this incorrectly? Am I missing out an opportunity? Because many times, I'm convinced that it's the best solution or the best answer, and can't understand for the life of me why someone would say no. Really, you have to ask a lot of people. And oftentimes it's the people who are unrelated to the business that I'm in that give you the biggest breakthrough ideas or aha moments.
I love that so much. And you said something there that I'm going to jump on real quick. And then, Sarifa, I'm going to bring you back on at that point. I want to share my screen because my main resource that I provide to people is over at womenspeakers.com. And there we go. So at womenspeakers.com, they come to this page and they either decide that this is where they're going to look for a speaker or they don't. It's a very simple front page. There's not much to it. My screen is blown up right now. I wanted to share it with you because it took quite a long time for me to actually have people come to the website and actually join and purchase and become a speaker and become a planner and participate with me. And what I made my goal for the first like 2 years it took before, I answered all of the customer service questions. And every time I got that customer service question, I went back to the front page of the website and I made sure that the answer to that question was crystal clear right there. And that's actually how, once they were attracted to the site, that I captured them and they didn't just leave because they didn't know the answer to a question. I used every single input. So I love, Jeannie, I love what you just said about sharing that and having, just saying every time you heard a no, you went back and you said, where did that no come from? Why is that there? Explain in 1 more minute. Take it a little farther.
Yeah, sure. Oftentimes when we are creating businesses and we're in marketing mode and we're looking at things, we start to speak in this really professional language that makes sense to us and tries to impress people, and that doesn't work. So, a colleague of mine a long time ago came up with the idea of weekend words. If you can't explain to somebody at a barbecue what you're trying to accomplish in your marketing and in your business outreach, then it's never going to be understood. So really going back and asking, what didn't you like? What didn't you agree with? What didn't make sense to you? Often gives you the insights to make things, like you said on your site, very simple and effective.
And that's the key. It needs to be understandable to your prospective client, not just to you. Awesome. Stay with us, Jeannie. Okay, Sarifa, your turn in about 90 seconds.
Okay. I think when the client comes to you and you come to a client and they say no. They said no because they don't trust you. There is no trust yet. As I said, in every relationship, it starts with trust. Without trust, nothing starts. So there is no business when there is no trust. And to keep it going and for you to be consistent is you need to be transparency. Honesty and transparency is very, very important in every relationship. And that's where the trust is. It has to start with trust. People don't trust you when they don't know you.
Yeah, that's awesome. And really, either you've got one of two things going on. There could be thousands, but they're going to fall under one of two things. They don't trust you, or they don't know that what you have can help them. Maybe they don't even need it, but they don't perceive that what you're offering can help them.
Yes.
Right. And it's going to be one of those two things. Stay with us. Okay. Who haven't I asked yet? I think, Susie, when people said no to you, what did you do?
I had the most fortuitous start with my career because I qualified as not just a coach, but a mentor and a supervisor of coaches. And that college, when I was mentoring, they put on a conference in London, and I was one of the speakers. And I was journalists were referred to me to interview me. So I had national newspapers reporting on what I was saying. And that, I think, opened the door for somebody like Nightingale Conant to find me, and then Brian Tracy. So my early stages of coaching were really golden, for want of a better way, because I wasn't getting unqualified clients to speak with. Right. And I've had clients, I started in 2004, and I still have a lot of my clients still with me. It's extraordinary. They go and they come. And currently, I should think I've got about 4, 5 maybe, that are still from those early days, 2008, that would be.
Yeah. And I want to address that because that's huge. Figuring out your lifetime value of a client or customer is an important piece that you can do as a business owner. But you want to remember that this person is potentially going to stay with you for years. As you saw at womenspeakers.com, I think there's currently, there's over 1,000 speakers. I didn't see the number today, but there's over 2,000 speakers in the stable. They come and go based on how full they are, their seasons of life. I'm going to have a baby. I'm doing a big move next year or whatever. They come and go. And so as you're thinking about your business, how can you retain relationships with all of these people through the years as you change? And now you come back with something new to offer them. What I'm going to do, you have an answer to this.
I do.
You go ahead.
Well, I think the most important thing is to just be authentic. I've engaged authentically with each of my clients. They I know we don't cross the line to become personal friends, but we are friendly. It's beyond, because some of the topics that you're working with them on can be quite intimate, depending on what your category is at that moment. And as long as you remain respectful and just be yourself, be open. I hope that's an answer that you can understand. I don't know what else to say about it, but it is just being yourself.
It's so interesting. It's a UK, USA difference here, because I am like best buddies with all of the people I work with. I'm like, I don't have that filter at all. I just see him and I throw my arms around him, and that's just how we go.
You know, it's so interesting you say that, because I don't get many British or UK clients. Most of my clients are foreign. From the UK, from Canada, from Australia, from India, from Africa, and across Europe and Scandinavia. So one day I could travel the entire world. It was such fun.
Yeah.
But, you know, you work through the world clock. It was really great.
It's amazing. Right. And all of you, thank you for all of you who are here from all over the world who did your homework and got here on time. Okay. Last question for you guys. Jeannie, I'm going to start with you and putting you on the hot seat here. You've been listening now to all of this, and we're talking during this session about how to attract your ideal customer. Do you have a final thought?
Network. Get out there, network, talk to people in your community.
Can I ask you a clarifying question? Do you mean go to networking events?
Well, we can't really do that much anymore right now.
But is that how you network mostly, is going to events, or do you mostly network by just talking to people in real life?
Actually, no, talking to people in real life. I actually don't really like networking events in the traditional way pre-COVID, because it made you a name and a title. I was Jeannie Mullen, CMO of Daily Pay, but I love these micro events, which is the phrase that I've been calling them, because right now you just don't see me as a professional. You see my home. Like we build a personal tie immediately. And that's what in-person networking, speaking to people wherever you are, the grocery store, church, on the street, and the subway, at different locations where your kids might be, and really just putting yourself out there. And everything that people have said about being authentic, it really helps you find connections in the most uncanny and exciting ways. But that network then supports you, especially as women. I found that our communities of supporters will help us with whatever challenge we have.
So true. Thank you so much for being here today, and thank you for everything you've done for the world.
Thank you, Marnie. You're doing an amazing, incredible job as well.
Oh, thanks so much. Okay, and I'm going to go over to Dr. Anamika.
Yes. So serve one person at a time. This has been my golden rule and always. So be it in workshop, be it online workshop, one person at a time. And when I'm doing deep coaching, that is where the exact, the connection builds up, and the person starts realizing on their own that now they want to ask me the price of my coaching service. So that helps.
I love that. And even just whoever you're with, whether it's just a good friend or a family member or someone new you're meeting on a bus, be present with that person, one person at a time. That's where it all begins, isn't it?
Exactly. Effective listening is something which always helps. Even when I'm doing group coaching, I tell them start practicing effective listening even in your relationships. That will help, convert your entire relationship from like 0 to 10 immediately.
Right. And then I loved your answer earlier that just keep loving them, even if they don't need you, want you, like you, approve of you. Just keep loving, keep being yourself.
Acknowledge that they are not ready to sign up right now. It's okay. It's completely okay. I mean, the world is not ending so soon. I'm around. They are around.
Exactly so. Oh, sorry, I clicked too fast. Anamika, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
All right, love you. Okay, and final thoughts, Sandi.
Yeah, I think the three things that I like to do, one is simply ask people what's going on in their lives, and go beyond the I'm fine, right? Really start to figure out what's happening in their lives, because especially in a time like this, it's it's crazy, and it's affecting both our personal and our professional lives. Really listen for what's going on so you can make those connections, and then ask them, is there someone else? I really love to ask my clients, is there someone else that you love, that you work with, that could benefit from this as well? Mm-hmm. And I find that the people who really believe that what I'm doing with them is affecting change in both their business and their personal life, they can't help but make referrals.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for all the work that you do.
Thank you, Marnie.
All right, we're going to jump over to Sarifa, a final thought for us.
Yes, first is I want to say that success can only be meaningful if you change and make a difference and change a soul for humanity, society. And I always adapt my tall principle, which is trust, to acknowledge the person, whoever they are, whatever the weaknesses and limitations, and then you listen to them. And listening is a very powerful tool to understand people and in loving them. Mm-hmm. Love melts mountain, and nothing. If everyone have that love, we shouldn't have any problem. I have my tall principle, and of course, in the beginning, the important ingredients there is the trust and being transparent for people to get that trust. Yeah.
So beautiful. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all that you do for humanity and for your book, that Love Your Obstacles. I just so believe that there is good inside of every seed of anything that's happening in your life, good, bad, or indifferent. So thank you so much, Sarifa.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Miss Jill, one final thought. Oh, Susie, sorry, one final thought.
You threw me then.
I know Jill Briscoe too. Jill Briscoe from the U.S.
Oh, really?
Whenever I see your Briscoe, I want to go Jill. But you're Susie. I know this.
It's so extraordinary because I've been caught up with relatives on Facebook through somebody. Yes. That's another story. My final thought. I think that love is the basis of what is needed in the world at the moment. We need to heal the planet. And for me, the way forward is to walk your legacy every day of your life. I think that could be my final word. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you so much. Right. And Color Your Legacy, your book. Fantastic. You guys want to check that out. And thank you, Susie, for being here.
But thank you so much for inviting me, Marnie. Bye.
And I have just one more thought to leave you guys with before we go. We owned a restaurant. So for the past several years, we owned several businesses all at once. And I was managing a restaurant and a large retail store and womenspeakers.com and writing books and speaking. And it was just insanely busy. At the time we owned the restaurant and the retail store, the Great Recession hit in 2007, 8, and 9. And our store and our restaurant were directly affected by this, just like your everything is being affected by COVID. All of our everythings are being affected by COVID right now. Anyway, back then, what I told my staff at both the restaurant and the store is, they may not have money. They may feel like they don't really need this or they can't afford us. But if you will extend them love, they will come. And that's what I'm going to leave you with today. Thank you guys all for sharing that. In every bit of your answers, you were talking about seeing people as real people, not as a way to get rich, not as someone to use in order to reach your goals, but as someone that is a person with real feelings, real needs, real emotions, and that possibly there is something I could do for you today. And then beyond that, something I could do for you today, which might just be an encouraging word or a smile or a helping hand. I also offer these services as my life work, and you are so welcome to come, and I would love to assist you there as well. As you attract your new customers, clients, and your new relationships, if you begin with love and you use these acronyms that we've been so gifted today from our guests, you will do well. Thank you for joining us. And this is the second of a 4-part series. We already did the session on how to launch. So if you didn't see that, go back and catch it. Our next session will be on how to use social networking, social marketing. And then the final one will be on how to manage. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you around. Okay, bye-bye.